Good morning. Welcome to the Smart Life Club. I'm Vickie Helm. So glad you've joined us today. This is the Coffee Break Show, and I am going to be talking about something that's so fundamental and so profound today at the same time. And it is Thursday. And what a week we've had. I want to thank our Wednesday welcome guest, Tracy Wilson. If you've not watched that live, you want to watch it. She drops bombs all the way through the show. It is so good. It's so powerful. I want to say hi to everybody that's coming on today. Hey, Lori, good morning. I hope that you have your hot chocolate tea or your coffee or some Logic, because I don't leave home without that coffee, I'll tell you. Today, we are going to talk about relationships. And I know people are like, oh God, this is an overspent show. It's like we talk about relationships on Oprah, on this, on that. Relationships to me are a catalyst, and they're so important for what we do in our lives. And we're going to be discussing that. And I want to know, why are relationships important to you as well as we go ahead? But do me a favor, put your name down below. And, if you're new here, definitely go ahead and introduce yourself so I know who's here, because you guys are popping all on. Up here, you're going to see a thing that says StreamYard/Facebook. When you click that and click the blue button, it gives me permission to see your name. And that's going to be really great for us today. Good morning, Lori. Nice to see all of you on. Today, I've been up since 4 and already had 2 cups of coffee long ago, drinking a smoothie now. All right, welcome. You were an early riser today. That's really early for me. Nilu, good morning. Hello, my friend. I'm like, there's Canada in the house. So I had such a great time with Tracy. Hola, everyone. Good morning, world, said Don. Nice to see you guys on board. Listen, if you're new here and you've never done the show, we share insights, we share motivation, we share inspiration, we share secrets, tips, and tools that help create thrivability. And that thrivability is being able to go to the next level and get the next level and see what the next level is and have more success, more health, more wealth, more relationships, better, stronger, deeper. Those are the things that we do. Hey, everybody. Good morning. I'm so happy for you to be on. Hey, Vix, just stopped in to say hi. It's Bex, or Joel. I don't know if it's Joel or Bex, but either way, hey, Vix, do me a favor. Somebody tell me who that is, that Becky or Joel, because there's only 2 people in the world who calls me Vix, and I think that's Joel, because I was just talking to him online about how awesome his pictures were today. Good morning, friends, from Marie Jo. Robin says, hi, Joel. So great to see you. Hey, buddy, I'm going to tell you what. Those pictures are so good. I'm so impressed with your ability to take pictures today. Hey, Peter, thank you for getting all that data to me. Hey, Robin, that's a nice smile from Joel. So do me a favor, sit back, let's have a cup of coffee, let's have a really great, fundamental conversation about relationships. Now, I'm a firm believer in having relationships. I am not a person who shies away from meeting people or getting to know them. Now, all of my relationships that I have are a catalyst and tool that help me. They help me live. They help me. And I want to let you know, my sister bought me this shirt, and I'm noticing it looks like it's inside out, but it's not. It's absolutely the right side out. I'm noticing on here that it looks like it's inside out, but it's the style. So Edie, thank you for the shirt very much. I really appreciate it. Thoughts. Oh yes. Thought I'd sign up with StreamYard. Yes, that is a good one. If you haven't used StreamYard, is a great tool to use when you're broadcasting. So right now, where you can go live on 5 platforms at once. So if you're on YouTube, welcome. And hit the like button if you like the show. And if you like these shows, share them out. And on our Welcome Wednesday guest this week was Tracy Wilson. If you have not seen that, you definitely want to go look at that video. It is so awesome. We have so many great surprises coming up for Wednesday guests. And I can't wait to tell you all of them, but I have to be, in this logical order about doing this. So yeah, it's really exciting. But today, what I want to focus on is the power of relationships. And the power of relationships isn't what they can give you or what you give them or whether you fall in love or whether you don't. Relationships, when you meet somebody, if you stand still in that silence that Tracy Wilson talked about the other day, you will find that every relationship has an opportunity and a gift. Even if your mind comes on and says, oh my God, that person's hot, or, oh, I don't like that person at all, or boy, she's a little bossy, whatever your judgments are, relationships are the great tool to help us look at ourselves and realize who we actually are. Remember yesterday when Tracy was saying, when you squeeze a lemon, what comes out of the lemon? It's juice. And when you squeeze the orange, what comes out of the orange? It's orange juice. And when you take a look at your friendships and who you are in your life, when you squeeze you, what comes out? Is it judgment? When you squeeze you, what comes out? Is it acceptance? When you squeeze you, what comes out? Is it love? Is it humor? What is it that comes out? What do you offer in that relationship? Now, I believe that long-term relationships are the most powerful kind of relationships to have, because when you have long-term relationships, you actually are willing to call each other out. In a confrontational way. You're not trying to collide and go, I'm your friend, therefore I'm going to tell you what I think of you. That's not what happens. Friendships help you reach, grow, and stretch. Relationships help take you out of your comfort zone. And if you're self-responsible, if there's a part of you that is absolutely self-responsible and you can open up and receive what it is that somebody is sharing with you, whether it's a view of something or a point of view of something or a flavor of something, like their flavor of music or their flavor of expression, it is so enriching in your life. It is so enriching, and it helps you develop as a person, as a soul. And so what happens when you develop at the soul is people help elevate you when you can receive who they are in that moment and just explore with them. Hang on, I gotta get a drink of coffee here. Hey, Joel, nice to see you on. Just did StreamYard. Didn't realize you had to do it every time up. It goes on and off. If you're on tomorrow, it'll probably notice you. But, now when you're foreign and you hop on and off, from London's in the house and Canada's in the house. So many people in the house today. Thank you. Let's see. Thank you. Maybe not every time. Yes. So what happens when you go ahead and you create relationships in your life? Here's the thing. I don't let relationships just happen to me. Just because I meet you doesn't mean we're going to start a friendship. And just because I know you doesn't mean I'm going to put you in my posse or, hang out with you. Just that doesn't, I have strict guidelines for my relationships. And the reason I have strict guidelines for my relationships is that there is a plethora of people. There's so many people on the planet right now. It doesn't make sense to hang out with people who don't like you or respect you or belittle you. There's so many other good people on the planet. Why would you hang out with people who treat you like that or talk to you in an unhealthy way or take you for granted or all the other things that can happen in relationships? Why would you do that when there are billions and billions of super good people who treat people well, who live to be kind to people, who, when you squeeze them, just show you love? Now, I'm not talking dependence, which is I only have friends who take care of me. That's not true. When you get to the point where you want equanimity in your relationships, when you squeeze them, there's love. And when they squeeze you, there's love. And there's interdependence. There's a way that you can be honest and upfront with people. And sometimes we need to get really clear about the people we surround ourselves with. People that we surround ourselves with are exactly a mirror of what we believe is possible, what we think we can do, where we think we're going, how we think. how we think. Like I have some friends that are very visionary, and I have a tendency to hang around visionary people. I'm an entrepreneur, and we are constantly attacking opportunities. Like, that's a good one. Oh, that's good. No, not that one. That one over there. Very visionary people who can sit down and say, this idea could go here and here and here, and we could help this many people, and we could serve this many people, and we could really make a change in the world. And their vision, I have a tendency to attract that to me because that's kind of how I am. And so what happens is, in the same way you look at the people who surround you, what you don't like about them, you don't like about yourself. What you love about them, that's part of who you are as well. And so relationships are this powerful tool for self-development. I'm going to pop over here because you guys are talking. Hey, Nilu, we need to make sure that we are in alignment with the people we build relationships with. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That is so powerful what you said, Nilu. We need to make sure we're in alignment with the people we build relationships with. So for me, when I've outgrown a relationship, I cut it gently, lovingly, kindly. If I've outgrown, because you know how like some people are still hang out with their high school friends, and they're like, we've been friends for 35 years. But I read somewhere yesterday where one of my friends said, some of my friends in high school are exactly the same way they were in high school, and they wonder why their life isn't working. And I was like, yes, in my past, I've had that. One of the hardest things you can do is let go of a relationship that you've outgrown. And how do they happen? Well, if they remain the same and you keep developing and developing and developing and developing and developing, eventually it's going to be irrelevant. It'll just die away. It's withering away. And you've made all these new friends along the way. And what we have to do is bless all the relationships that have entered into our lives. And some of them we let go of. And what Nilu said is so important. We need to make sure we're in alignment with the people we build relationships with. Are they integrous? If they're not integrous, snip, they're out. Hey, Donnie, good morning, my friend. We have individual relationships, community relationships, team relationship, professional relationships. They are all a state of being connected and how we behave with each other. And that's a beautiful thing. I want to say that again, because that is so true, Donnie. We have individual relationships, community relationships, team relationships, professional relationships. They're all a state of being connected. And how we behave with each other. That was so beautiful. And it's so important, Nani, to say that, because you're very visionary when it comes to that. But have you ever met somebody who was like, man, she's really good with people. She's just really good with people. I want to give you 3 things that I've learned that have helped me build the relationships that I love. The first thing, this is probably the most significant thing around for me. The most significant thing that happened to me was I fell upon a book, and the book was, and I found it in London actually when I was working with Joel, because Joel Young and I used to be business partners years and years ago. It's like 2 decades and we still love each other. But we ran across this book from Marshall Rosenberg called Nonviolent Communication. Nonviolent communication. And what I found out about communication is people don't actually teach you how to communicate. You kind of learn it in your household. And when you learn to communicate, you often learn the communication skills of your parents or your grandparents, and they're not always charming or good. And when I actually practice, and I mean, I spent 5 years studying this, because what I loved about the book is that it let me talk about my feelings, which is the thing I actually wanted to do. You've heard the term, I didn't know how to put it in words. Well, Marshall Rosenberg's book, Nonviolent Communication, did 2 things for me. It helped me learn how to talk to people, and it helped me manage my ego, because I didn't know how to manage it at that time. It was very, very, very good. The next thing is my dad one time, this was, God, it made me so angry, but I was in my teen years and I was dating and I got my heart broken. And of course, I was up complaining about who broke my heart and why they broke my heart and, how they done me wrong song. And my dad walked out and he looked at me and he goes, well, you picked them. And I was, what? That shocked me. You picked them. You're the one who said yes. You're the one who went out on the date. You're the one that made the relationship. You picked them. And God, I was so angry when he said that. But when I thought about it, I was like, yes, I do pick them. And do I pick somebody to be friends with because I like them? Or did I pick them to be friends with because they needed a friend? And so you have to, why it's like sometimes we pick needy people to be friends with constantly so that we feel needed. That's not friendship, that's codependency. And once I realized that, I was like, oh, that relationship is there. The second thing I learned from Marshall Rosenberg's book that's so important is how to be an adult in a relationship, how to listen better, and how not to say what I think they're saying and listening to what they are saying. I learned to listen, not to respond, but to listen to create connection. And I think that is one of the key things. If you have relationships where you can create connection with people and you know how to do that, it's so enriching. It is so enriching in your life to understand people like that. And the third thing was that when my relationships are here and now, my relationships with people are so strong that I allow people to call me out. Like if I am in a place where I say something and somebody says, now, is that really true? I mean, can you know that to be true? And actually be able to say it and be open to saying, oh, I see where I'm fooling myself right now, and come back to center right then. If you have friends that are willing to do that for you, because most people want to be nice, they don't want to hurt your feelings, and they're noticing you going down the track of least resistance, but they'll watch you walk off the bridge instead of stop you and say, can you see how you're walking off that bridge up there? And if you're really a friend, you'll come back to center and say, oh, you're right, I am. Or, well, this is what I think. Is that true? Am I still walking off the bridge? What do you want? What do you say? This is how you create relationships that are functional and they are reliable and they are deep, because people will go there. There's authenticity all the way through that relationship. And then you have something that's gold that you're worth hanging on. Joel says sometimes you grow in a different directions and then sometimes you grow back later. Yes, that's true. Sometimes you grow in different directions and sometimes you grow later. Here's the thing that I want to say about Joel. Joel and I have, I don't know, known each other for about 20 years or 20 plus years. And what I admire about Joel so much, the thing that I admire most is the thing that I enjoy most. He has never stopped growing or exploring or going deeper or working to personally develop. Ever. He doesn't stop, and neither do I. And I love that about him, because when I talk with him, I can see and share. He shares insights, I share insights, and the balance of our relationship is just there, period. Whether the universe is like, hey, you guys, I'll meet you in San Diego in some weird day, like just recently when we met in San Diego, or when we go back, it doesn't matter how much time goes by. That relationship has its solidity because there are two responsible people involved. And it's great to have business partners like that. So my friend Donnie, who's on here all the time, Donnie's the same way. It's like he's willing to go there with you and willing to go there for you at the same time. It's like one of the things that is the most powerful when you surround yourself with those kinds of relationships, you will have endless success, not some success, endless success. because everybody can listen to the universe. And when you can listen to your soul and you can listen to the things talking to you that lead you in a direction, you have success after success after success after success. I'm not saying it's easy street to success. There's work involved, but there's also flow involved. Flow in the relationship that is evolved and grown and strengthened itself. So the relationship becomes purposeful and divine in every moment. And I love that. I mean, that's like a needle in a haystack relationship. And I have several of them. And Joel is a key component of those kinds of relationships. It's impeccable. And I absolutely love the impeccableness of our relationship. And thank you, Joel. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone else who has that with me. Hi, Marie Jo. Nice to see you. She says it's important to figure out who you are, your pallbearers, and who are your grave diggers. Ooh. Marie Jo, I always love your comments. I love this. And this is so important. It is important to figure out who are your pallbearers and who are your grave diggers. Wow, that's so profound. I could probably do an entire show on just that. Who are your pallbearers and who are your grave diggers? And Robin says, and the plot thickens. That's right. It's so incredible what you just said. Lori is on board and she says, I've had to do that a few times in the last few years. I think negative people in your life can be like a cancer. I agree with that. You either need to cut them out or their attitude will spread throughout all your relationships. It's true. I don't like it either. Yeah. Definitely important to stay in the state of love when terminating those relationships. Yeah, I don't have like terminating 2 decades. Holy crap. I know, Joel. We were so young just a bit ago, and I've done such incredible work with you, and I'm looking forward to whatever the universe unfolds for us in the future. I really like that. Donnie says, yes, that is definitely called growth in relationships. Yes. And so, Lori, when you were talking about having to let those go and saying, yes, it should always be done in love. Yes, it's like when you've outgrown something, if something is stagnant and it meets you in that moment, what did they say? Sometimes people come for a reason, a season, a day, or, a lifetime. And we don't know what that looks like in that. Is it a day, a season, a lifetime? And so I think that when your relationships stay within that personal growth, adulthood, whatever else, there's a lifetime of opportunity. But I also agree with what Joel said. And what Joel said is, yeah, sometimes you grow apart and do different gigs. And sometimes you come back, do a gig. And sometimes you go apart, you do a gig. And I'm like, yes, that's absolutely true for me. I love doing joint ventures. I have incredible partners. But here's what I know. Once a relationships get to a certain level of really good and you know how to work together really well, it doesn't matter what opportunity gets there. That team can go, yes, let's pull it off and do it. The question is, what opportunity do you want to take? And when you have a lot of good people, a lot of opportunities come in and you're like, do we take this one? What about this one? What about this one? What about this one? You have to grab 2 and focus on those 2 or 1 and say, this is it. This is what we're doing right now. Get that one up, sell it, move it, grow it, whatever it is. All relationships that are in that line only produce success over time. And sometimes faster than over time. It's almost like it gets to be overnight. But yes, that is definitely called growth in relationships. Yes. Woo, that's true. I just learned how to do the gracefully watching Vickie. Thank you. She's amazing at flowing the love authenticity. My prior behavior would be to avoid and just leave. Yikes. Yeah, that's scary. Okay, let's see. The time really does fly. That's true. I love the book, Life Changing. There it is. There's a link to the book, Nonviolent Communication. I will tell you, that's my Bible. I've read it 5-6 times. I practice it as often as I can because it allows me to be authentic in a way that is just so healthy for me. I absolutely love it. And I found it back in, I think it was 2000 or something like that, Joel. We went to that Becky, you and me went to this bookstore in downtown London. I can't even remember the name, but I can remember what it looks like because it was so beautiful inside. And there was that book, and I was so drawn to it. And it definitely subsequently changed my life. Love it. I was raised with those life skills. Be nice. Don't rock the boat. Not very supportive to my growth, but a starting point. Yes, I do not believe that you can actually have authentic relationships if you are following the rules that say you have to be nice and don't rock the boat. That's not a relationship, is it? That's like giving somebody their way all the time because, you don't want to rock the boat. If they can't handle your rocking the boat, a little bit, and they say, call you out or do something, then you really can't have a relationship with them. And Joel says, can't stop, won't stop, laugh out loud. And thanks, lovely. You know what? I love that about you. I can't stop, won't stop, and I will always be your friend. Always, Joel. I just absolutely love you and hanging out with you. I have so many great, powerful memories in my mind of you. It's just lovely. Donald Gifford had a smiley face there, and just absolutely. And who out in the coffin? I know that's got to be a reply to Marie Jo's question, but I'm not quite sure what it means. That's the coffee mug today. Thank you. What opportunity do you want to take? You have to stay focused on your mission and what is in alignment with your vision. Otherwise, you can be sidetracked and trailed. Joel said it was in Alternatives in St. James in London where we saw Marshall and his giraffe and jackal puppets. Yes, that was a good time, wasn't it? Thank you. Wow, your memory is so good. Of course, you live in London, so it's probably saying like the Pepsi Center to me, but it was in Alternatives. Thank you. Same, X, thank you. So one of the things that I have the fortune of benefiting in relationship is that the third key thing isn't about what I get out of the relationship. What am I going to get? What are you going to give me? That's a contract. For me, the relationship stays open. And when it's silent, something will show up. And I don't mean silent ignoring each other. I mean silent when you're both paying attention to it, or when the three of you are paying attention to it, or when the five of you are paying attention to it. What it wants you to do will show up. And what if purposefulness or a sense of meaning and purpose, when it came from that moment of relationship, unfolded $1 million idea, a $10 million idea, a $20, $30 million idea that benefited the world? What if in that moment, the universal forces said, you are the people to do this, and that's why you're here. And when you all are able to pay attention to that, you'll know where your aces and your places are. You'll know who needs what kind of love and when. You'll know who's, like, for instance, in our particular group of 5 people, we have 2 people that are absolutely afraid to let the team down. So when they do something, they're so anal about correcting and make sure it's perfect. And we're like, perfect isn't it. We love you. Bring the idea and the work here, and we'll make it perfect together. And so when you're afraid to let your team down, it's because you love them so much and you really want to be at your 100% best in that environment. Now, the reason I say this is because this is something I think entrepreneurs experience a lot, or I've experienced a lot. Now, have I had some not good partnerships? Yeah, I've had somebody embezzle me. I've also had a partner who I love very, very dearly die right on me. And that was really hard for me. I was spent. I didn't know what to do, and I was mourning. And I also have partners that will go to the mat for me, that would do anything. And we've done awesome, great, amazing things together that have benefited the world. And I continue that as a way of life for me. And what I want to say to everybody else is relationships reflect a state of consciousness that you're in. Relationships reflect the state of consciousness you're in. And what do I mean by that? Your relationships state what you think is possible for you, what you think is possible for them. If all you think your relationship's for to go to the bar and have a couple of beers, that's the possibility you think your relationships are for. If you think your relationships are so strong that they can change the world, that's the state of consciousness you're in. And so when you enjoy relationships and you deepen them, they all have meaning and purpose. Now, here's the thing, just because you meet somebody and you fall in love, I mean, wicked love, it doesn't mean you're supposed to get married and have children. It can mean that, but it doesn't have to. And what happens if you fall deeply in love and you just stayed present with how deeply you love someone and what it's saying to you instead of you giving it meaning? What's the meaning it has to say to you? What is it reflecting? What does it want to share with you? What is its purposefulness in this moment? So I want to say that true friendships last just eons. And for me, those are the strongest, most important friendships that I could have in the world. And I'm so thankful for them. And it's interesting that on this call, some of my oldest friendships and some of my strongest friendships showed up on the call today. It's so interesting that that happened, and I want to thank you for that. But what I want to challenge you to do is look at your relationships and be daring enough to challenge them. Ears of the heart. Yes, ears of the heart. That's right. Joel is adding ears to the heart is soulful listening, not mindful listening, soulful listening. And since you are the soul and your mind is the tool that you use, soulful listening to love will let the thing unfold and show you what it wants. When it does, what I have found is I'm jazzed all the time. I love my work. I love my teams. I love my projects. I am so fortunate. I am so blessed. I can't even believe it. But when I pay attention to all these relationships, they make my life heaven. And I want to give back in that way. I want to make their life heaven. What's the next thing we can do together? What's out there in the world? And for those people who have had my back when I'm sad, when I've had a meltdown, when I'm so excited, when I'm fearful, when I'm jumping up and down, those people who've just been there because they're there for me, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. To my business partners, past and future and present, thank you. Thank you for trusting me, and thank you for being out there, and thank you for being willing. How willing are you to create the friendships that are undying in your life, that grow with you, that value you, that send you meaning and purpose, help you grow, help you prosper, help you thrive? That's the power of relationships. And here's the one key secret. You picked them. All right. I'll see you guys on Friday tomorrow. Thanks for being on the Coffee Show today. Mwah! Peace out.